great to be here with you today. So quickly, introduce yourself and tell me about route marketing, just real quick as we get started. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for talking, Miles. My name's Sam Justice. I'm a co-founder here at Root Creative Marketing. We are an agency that specializes in food production across the globe. We're headquartered in the central of California, so that makes us kind of in a prime spot to work in food. And we work with an amazing team of people, creatives as well as like account executives, sales, marketing, specialized marketing uh marketing people that really help us bring marketing goals, and we work with our clients on all different fronts, whether it's like graphic design, web development, photo, video, and we integrate that into social media platforms, digital, traditional marketing, PR, kind of the whole gamut. In some sense, we're a full service marketing agency, and we're kind of hyper focused on the agriculture and food sectors.
Nice, man. And I know with roots in the Central Valley, I know a lot of your staff has historically been based there. But I know years ago, I think we had a brief conversation about what it's like hiring international contractors. Tell me about some of the, your thought around hiring internationally and some of the challenges you faced.
Yeah, I've been working in creative for over a decade, and hiring creative talent in California, there's lots of people and there's lots of talent to go about. Where specifically where we're at in the Central Valley, there's a little bit less creative talent than if you go north to San Francisco or even south to LA. And so, and not to mention, like California just got like really challenging labor issues. Things like, obviously pay, but also like all the legal stuff that comes with it. So pretty quickly early in my career, like I started working with creatives that were remote, in like specifically like the Philippines, um, and other parts of the world. And when we first started look for Root, when we first started looking to hire remote staff, um, we jumped into like Upwork or like searching Behance profiles and reaching out to people independently, um, just based on like the scope of work that they had. And typically we'd hear crickets. And I don't think it's because they didn't want the work. I think it's because they're creatives and they weren't really like monitoring their platforms all that frequently. It was just hard to
Yeah.
reach people. It was just really hard to reach people. And then when we would reach people, it was hard to get a meeting set with them. It was hard to kind of, and sometimes the communication would be off. They would say that they're, fluent English speakers, and oftentimes they weren't, So there were just a lot of challenges in trying to find quality applicants that checked off a lot of boxes. Most times, like people would check off one or two boxes, like either like super creative, really good work, but their English was subpar. Other times, they'd have like great communication skills, really responsive, but their portfolio of work was just kind of lackluster, not really what we were looking for.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, it sounds like all in, it's just quite a lot of time consumed. And as a leader of the company, yeah, you are wearing many hats and probably don't have, just endless amounts of time to dump into a recruitment process.
Yeah, not only the time, but also just I would say the time's probably one of the biggest things in recruitment. But it was the time plus there was a lot of times where there were like time zone differences. And so that delay it was so hard to sync up with someone, like it would be 9 p.m. and I'm having like finishing dinner or like putting my kids to bed and then like having to hop on a call with
Yeah.
somebody. So those like time zone challenges, and then the time that it just simply takes to organize that, you know, like the amount of time, like I could spend a full day trying to find like a list of candidates, and maybe have like a 10% success rate on even like communicating with them.
Absolutely, and that's common from what we've heard from some of our other clients. So yeah, segueing into, we put forward a few candidates, and I'm pleased to share that we helped you hire one full time, and hopefully we'll be helping you hire some more in the future. So how is that process working with us, where we took on the burden of pre-screening the candidates?
Yeah. So when my business partner Stephanie brought this to me and we talked about it in a meeting, we instantly knew it was a no-brainer because of the amount of time that it takes. So she was saying, hey, they're going to bring us like qualified candidates based on the metrics that we set. Instantly for us, like the time savings just on that front was like a no-brainer. So yeah, we engaged on that first one. He kind of walked us through the process. And then quickly, like I think probably within like a week, maybe 10 days even worth of time, Josue had like a list of candidates that were like coming to our inboxes saying, hey, and it was consolidated, which was convenient, right? Right. Here's the person's name. Here's like their skills, experience. Here's their resume.
Yeah.
Here's a link and a portfolio to their portfolio of work. Like, as visual, like is what we do is visual, like having a portfolio was one of the like requirements. And just that alone is so time saving because oftentimes even like application process here US based, you still got to reach out for portfolios sometimes, right? And so just like checking the boxes on those, like the prerequisites, made the process seamless. Now when it got to interviewing, Jose scheduled all the meetings for us and like
Great.
cross-reference
Yeah.
calendars, which is like, man, just cross-referencing between just two people's calendars, my business partner's like calendars like takes time. So doing that, scheduling the meetings with us, then following up like, hey, how'd they go? Even introing, like Jose would start the meetings, do a quick intro for us, and then leave the meeting and let us have our conversation. Yeah, I mean, I think we went through, to like that specific experience, like we actually started the interview process looking for a set skill. And then through the process of interview, kind of shifted a little bit, realizing that our needs are slightly different based on the conversation that we were having with these applicants. And so we were able to kind of work with your team in that kind of discovery process and find another 3, 4, 5 candidates pretty quickly, like next day, day after even. And all of the candidates checked off, four of the 5 of the box that we were really, really looking for, and actually got to the point where we had candidates that we were having a tough time choosing between because they checked off everything we were looking for. So
Nice. I love to hear that. And I know this is actually the first time I know we are recording this, but it's the first time I've gotten feedback from you directly. So around
yeah,
this, so this is real time and live, and I'm glad to
yeah,
hear that we were able to put you in a situation where you're choosing between multiple candidates
yeah,
that meet your needs. That's awesome. And then tell me about like now fast forwarding for the one candidate that you've hired, your one
yeah.
international contractor, like how has that impacted your business? And then yeah, how are you thinking about like the strategy of international contractors as part of like your go forward plan?
Yeah. So yeah, on this specific hire, we've identified what we would call like a Mustang player, right? Like she's a purebred, like she's extremely detail oriented and very focused on her skill set. She's certainly a creative that can play at a global level. And for us, we're trying to acquire talent that fits that mold. And so not only are we looking at things from a talent perspective, but from a budget perspective, being able to stretch our staffing budget allows us to do more with less and actually do even better with less, right? So have even better quality talent with less, of a salary budget. And so we're able to not only just make one hire, but we can even now look at making 2 hires for what was potentially maybe the cost of one.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, which is super cool and allows us to like where we maybe had to have someone that could generalize, we can now find individuals that are specialized, right? And for creatives, specifically, like they like that. They like to just kind of stay in their lane and they don't want to wear too many hats.
Yeah.
If I can find creatives that like wearing a lot of hats, let me know. I want to hire them too. But yeah, I mean, I think as we look at our agency and our business model, so much of what we do, whether it's internally with our team or with our clients, are conversations like this over video chats. And we've really adopted this, daily touch point, frequent communication with team members and clients. And so we're looking at the global market as in terms of talent market, as a way for us to increase our exposure geographically within new territory regions across the world, and be able to work with the best people around the world.
Great, great. That's great, Sam, and congrats on all your success to date, man. And
Thank you.
as we look forward to 2025 and beyond, I want to help you find more Mustang purebreds. So
Yeah, yeah. I did not coin that term, but yeah, I would love to
it's a
keep
great
working. Yeah,
analogy. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's actually like that's a Dave Ramsey one. But yeah, dude. I think we have we initially started with one global, what we call like a global team. Um, he's been working with us, I think, almost 2 years now, and we actually found him through Upwork, and he's been a great team player, and like high skill level. He's in Brazil. As soon as we did that, we had that experience where we like kind of got lucky in finding someone that like kind of checked all the boxes for us. Um, we realized like, man, we got to do this more. And in our efforts to like do that more, we didn't get lucky. Like we just kept hitting like ding after ding after ding. Like, man, these just not the right candidates. And so when my business partner Stephanie like said, "Hey, Miles is and this team is doing this," like my ears perked up because it just kind of cuts away all the challenges. And I'll just say this: Josue has been like super fun to work with. I
Oh,
just like
good, good.
relationally, like we're friends. Like he's super cool, you know.
That's awesome,
Like I
man.
like the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Everyone loves Josue, and yeah, to
Yeah.
your point, like you're in the weeds, kind of working through this stressful, sometimes stressful process of trying to find someone that fits into your team. So yeah, we've always believed that like we try to make it as enjoyable as possible,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be pulling teeth, because at the end of the day, it's like companies are growing and expanding, and yeah, let's
Yeah.
make it fun.